Is there any other resolutions presented by board members?
Yes. Where is it? Huh? Oh, just vote it down. We have to find it. Yeah, where is it? Did you take it from there? No, I have it right in front of me. So the Building and Grounds Committee, along with the superintendent and Mr. Brown, have been meeting with the 360 group to advance the sale or leasing of the property across the road at the junior high. We have a proposal in front of us to do that, which essentially says, as a consultant for the Gateway School District, the 360 Group proposes to serve as the school district's agent, facilitator, and point of contact during the period of time necessary to address any and all issues related to zoning, municipal codes, real estate market conditions, and market strategy for the subject property. The consultants will attend public meetings related to the process and report to the board. Consultants will market the property and indefinitely identify prospective buyers and lessors. Additionally, once the property is officially for sale, will act as a fiduciary representing the school district to evaluate proposals. Evaluation will include a review of the purchase offers submitted in relation to the business, financial terms, municipal zoning, vetting of a buyer's financial capabilities, and development expertise. Generally speaking, the terms of any offer will have contingencies and conditions which would have a significant impact on at the time of closing. The recommendation is due to the location's unique development opportunity. A buyer and not the school district shall be responsible for compensating, that is, the buyer and not the school district shall be responsible for compensating an agent if the buyer chooses to utilize an agent. This approach should save the district a significant amount of money by avoiding a market commission of 4%. So if the property sells for $10 million, we avoid a $400,000 bill. The consultant would work with the school district's board, administration, consent, and input, view at all public and private inquiries related to real estate regarding what may be a controversial decision. The consultants will provide the expertise and focus necessary to execute a significant real estate transaction. Our outsourcing this step to real estate professionals enables the board and administration to employ their expertise and concentrate on decisions relating to student relocation, temporary assignments, new construction, financing, while engaging with the students and parents in the district. We propose to provide the above noted following the consummation of an agreement. The terms would be $2,500 per month, retainer plus 1% of the transactional fee, whether it's a sale or a lease of the contract. I would add to this that that the contract, if approved by this board, not be executed until zoning approval has been secured from the municipality. So moved.
I second for the sake of
Motion by
conversation.
Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Stubenport. Questions, comments?
I have a few comments. How long have you guys been talking to the 360 group?
Probably a couple of months, 2-3 months.
A couple of months. And when were we given a document about the 360 group?
About 2 hours, 3 hours ago.
2 hours, 3 hours ago. Okay. And one of the big areas that people have brought up, and rightfully so, is transparency in the board and the fact that probably shouldn't add things in the 10th hour and try to pass them through. This isn't something that needs to be passed this evening, right? Even in your motion in and of itself, you said we want to wait until the zoning occurs. So if you've had this for months, I'm curious as to why it wasn't brought up at a study session, which is what study sessions are intended for, why board members weren't given the information and we were able to look it over. So I'm just going to recommend that everyone puts it down, you bring it back up at the study session, we follow a normal board proceeding.
I'd actually like to make a motion to table it, and then we can bring it up next
Motion
meeting.
to table, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, Bonnie.
That was fast.
Mr. Lapsevich.
No.
Mr. Nola.
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
No.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mr. Stubenbort.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
No.
Mr. Williams.
No.
Mrs. Byrne.
No.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Yes.
Motion failed.
Motion
So I
fails.
call the question.
Fails.
Roll call vote.
I'd like to make a motion for discussion.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Nola, second by Mr. Stillport.
Transparency, eh?
Roll call.
Janet's
For-
increase $8,000, eh?
For discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this is discussion. Let me get this straight. Okay.
We're not going to turn like these.
No. Mr. Nola,
For discussion, yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
What are we talking about now? We're to discuss it, so I'm saying no.
You don't even want to discuss it?
Mr.
Can I just
Ritter.
vote without your editorial comments?
Absolutely not. Not at 9:15.
This is just to discuss.
Aye.
Mr. Stubenbort,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
No.
Mr. Williams,
No.
Mrs. Byrne,
Yes.
Mrs. Cerucci,
Yes.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do we have an approximate cost so the public knows like what type of figures we're talking about?
$2,500 a month, we figure, I would estimate, as I've said in executive session, about 2 years, so $60,000, plus 1% of the back end of either a lease or sale.
So roughly 60,000 presented not at a study session.
And I think we'd be comfortable with, term, or putting a term limit on it, 2 years. I don't know how long it will take to market it, but I don't think you can expect it to be marketed in an afternoon.
Okay. And then legally, I know we don't have, since it's professional services, we don't have to put it out to bid, but we should probably see what other companies do this in the Pittsburgh area, correct? Would that be sound business advice, Paul?
And that's an option to consider.
Yeah.
I just think that, I mean, we want to wait to even engage them. Why do we have to approve something to say we're going to do it with them? Why don't we just wait until it's time to engage them?
This is a multi-million-dollar initiative that's been on the school board's agenda for years. We've heard nothing but, wait, don't do it now, get it later, blah, blah, blah. We have deteriorating facilities. We have facilities that aren't fully used. We have a company that we've met with, that we discussed, that has put probably the best deal that we're going to get on the table at that $2,500 a month for a multi-million-dollar deal and 1% of the back end. Most of them are 4%, and we're just going to put this off and off and off until when? The middle school collapses, or we just don't need the facility? We need to move on.
just wanted you to put it off
We
till
did the
next month
survey,
so the
we
public
approved the
could look
survey
at it.
tonight. Let's get the survey
I've given
done.
you my point of view.
Let's get the survey done. Let's see, actually, part of that survey, if I write it here, no, I don't know, I'll have to find it, but part of that survey says,
Survey says.
yeah, one second. Oh, and to present a rezoning request for the Gateway Middle School property before the municipality of Monroeville during several required meetings in the amount of applicable rates and fees. So we're getting the survey, we're getting it presented for rezoning. Let's go that route. Let's see where we end up. Next month, if we're ready to roll, we're ready to roll. If we're not, whatever. I mean, but we're getting it surveyed, rezoned. I think that's moving down the path.
So, does this come administration recommended, Mr. O'Donnell?
I believe it does. Mr. Short?
Without a study session?
We have met probably 3 different times with this organization, and without a doubt, I think they can benefit this district in moving forward. If it's the choice of the board to go out for bid, I understand that, and we can do so. However, we have talked and we have debated many times in moving forward with a plan with our aging facilities. So if this is an effort to continue that process, then we should do so. However, if we choose to go out for bid, we will then do that as well.
But we are moving towards that. By doing the survey, by trying to get it rezoned, we are moving in that direction, so we are moving. We're not sitting still. We are doing something. And secondly, I think we owe it to everybody to make sure that this may be the best deal ever. Have you talked to other people besides this one?
No.
Don't we owe it to the taxpayers to talk to some people, figure out what's the right thing? Like, this may be the best deal ever. I don't know, but neither do you, or neither do you. That's the problem. We need to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Like I'm going to say something different about this whole thing, but it has to do with this subject. There's too many times here we want to circumvent the process. The process is important, and this is the process. The process is to find out some things from people, do the bids, listen to the public. People come here because they want to speak. We almost didn't let people speak. That is the process. The process is not to put it on right here and to vote on it. The process is to put it on, let the public see it, put it on for the study session, let it go through the steps. That's the process. I don't know why we always want to deviate from the process. Period.
Mr. Nolan, this was not part of the board agenda. Do you understand that?
I understand that. I'm just stating, this is a deviation from our standard operating processes.
Not for the past year.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Mr. O,
What are we roll calling on? What are we?
On my motion.
To approve
employ
this
these
tonight,
people.
rather than giving
To
it a
employ
couple
these
weeks
people.
of public review and board member review for those of
To
us who
approve
just
the
saw it
motion.
tonight.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
No.
Mr. Stubenbort,
No.
Mrs. Warning,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mrs. Byrne,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci,
No.
Mr. Lapsevich,
Aye.
Mr. Nola.
No.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Any other